The Islamic religion. It actually really aligns with everything that I believe in as well. This might have converted me.
مرحبا بكم في فيديو جديد. اليوم لدينا حوار مثير بين الذكاء الاصطناعي وعدد من الأشخاص غير المسلمين الذين طرحوا أسئلة حول الإسلام. في هذا الفيديو سنناقش إجابات الذكاء الاصطناعي التي قد تكون مفاجئة للكثيرين. سنبدأ بأسئلة متعلقة بمفاهيم دينية أساسية مثل الحجاب، الصلاة، الصيام وغيرها. تابعوا الفيديو حتى النهاية للحصول على الإجابات الشاملة والمثيرة للاهتمام. الآن ننتقل إلى موضوع آخر وهو مكانة المرأة في الإسلام. هذا سؤال حساس يطرحه كثيرون، فهل الإسلام يضع قيودا على المرأة أم أنه يمنحها حقوقا وحريات؟ لنشاهد الآن الإجابة على هذا السؤال.
Now I'm going to ask ChatGPT a couple general questions because I am quite curious. This is my first proper insight into Islam and I would like to know a couple of things. First being, how does Islam empower women? I really want to know because there's a lot of common misconceptions and I really want it to be cleared up for me and everyone else watching. So let me go ahead and...
Islam has empowered women in many ways, both historically and in the modern world. Here are a few examples. Spiritual equality. The Quran teaches that men and women are equal in the eyes of God. This means that women have the same spiritual and moral capabilities as men. Right to education. The Prophet Muhammad encouraged both men and women to seek knowledge. As a result, Muslim women have made significant contributions to fields like medicine, law, and education throughout history. Economic rights. Muslim women have the right to own property, start businesses, and manage their own finances.
Wow.
They can also enter into contracts and inherit property. Marriage and family. Muslim women have the right to choose their spouse and to divorce if necessary. They also have the right to child support and custody in the event of a divorce. Political rights. Muslim women have the right to vote and hold public office. In many Muslim countries, women have served as members of parliament, cabinet ministers, and even heads of state.
I had no idea. Regarding political rights, the fact that Muslim women have had the right to vote and hold public office, that's something that quite often in Western media you don't see. There's a lot of misconceptions and I had no idea because of the information I'd gotten from Western media. I had no idea women could even do that, which is so enlightening. Yeah, also regarding economic rights and marriage and family and things like that, I also had no idea that they could choose to divorce their spouse if necessary. That's another common misconception that I feel like Islam doesn't get credit for. So that's been really insightful actually.
كان الجواب واضحا. الإسلام منح المرأة حقوقا كاملة وأعطاها مكانة عالية في المجتمع، من حقوقها في الزواج، الميراث والتعليم إلى مكانتها في الحياة.
Ask it. This will be an interesting one. What is the purpose of life? Let's see what he has to say about this.
الآن ننتقل إلى سؤال آخر مهم وهو عن غرض الحياة في الإسلام. ما هو الغرض الحقيقي من الحياة بالنسبة للمسلمين؟ هل هو مجرد عبادة أم يوجد هدف أسمى؟ دعونا نتابع معا جواب الذكاء الاصطناعي على هذا السؤال.
What is the purpose of life? Let's see what he has to say about this. The purpose of life is one of the biggest questions humanity has ever asked. In different philosophies, I can't bloody speak, religions and thinkers have offered various answers. Here are some perspectives. Religious perspectives. Islam, life is a test and the purpose is to worship the God, Allah, do good deeds and seek eternal success in the afterlife. I did not create jinn and mankind except to worship me. That's from the Quran. In Christianity, to love and serve God and others. Love your Lord, your God, with all your heart and love your neighbour as yourself. Kind of the same type of thing there. Philosophical perspectives is like existentialism. Life has no inherent meaning, you create your own purpose. Utilitarianism, bloody hell. The purpose is to maximize happiness and reduce suffering. That's pretty cool. Stoicism, to live a virtue, wisdom, courage, and justice. Yeah, interesting.
Learning about the world around us.
الذكاء الاصطناعي يوضح أن الغرض من الحياة في الإسلام هو عبادة الله والعمل الصالح. يعتبر الإسلام أن الحياة ليست مجرد معيشة فانية، بل هي فرصة للتقرب إلى الله وتحقيق الأهداف النبيلة.
What does Islam say about science? Because I'm very curious. I've got a lot of questions right now, so Yeah, let's hear it. I'm really curious to hear this actually.
Islam encourages the pursuit of knowledge and scientific inquiry. The Quran contains many verses that speak to the importance of learning about the world around us.
What?
For example, one verse says, "And say, My Lord, increase me in knowledge." Quran 20 to 114. The Prophet Muhammad also emphasized the importance of seeking knowledge. He said, "Seeking knowledge is an obligation upon every Muslim." Al-Tirmidhi. Muslim scholars have made many important contributions to science throughout history. For example, Ibn al-Haytham is considered the father of modern optics, and Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi is considered the father of algebra. Today, there are many Muslim scientists and engineers who are making important contributions to our understanding of the world.
What? I didn't expect that answer, I'm not gonna lie. I expected something completely different. Okay, I'm, again, really shocked with the answer. I don't know, I just feel like, honestly, my honest opinion right now, as a white woman, a lot of these things I didn't know, or I knew of, but it was misconstrued due to misinformation and people not having the right information. That, I was actually really shocked at that. Yeah, that was a perfect answer.
Do Muslims worship Muhammad? And the answer is no. Muslims do not worship Muhammad or any other prophet. Muslims believe in all prophets, including Adam, Noah, Abraham, David, Solomon, Moses, and Jesus. Muslims believe that Muhammad was the last of the prophets, and they believe that only God is to be worshipped, not human beings nor anything else. Exactly. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on this one, apart from the Jesus bit, obviously. And I can understand why Muslims get touchy with Catholics. I get touchy with Catholics. I feel that they worship saints and Mary. They should only worship God. So I'm actually completely with Muslims on this.
The next question I'm going to ask is Islam a violent religion? I feel like I really need to ask this as it's a common misconception, and I want to know what ChatGPT has to say about it.
Some people believe that Islam is a violent religion because the Quran contains verses that seem to condone violence. However, other people believe that Islam is a peaceful religion because the Quran also contains verses that promote peace and forgiveness. It is important to note that the Quran is a complex text that can be interpreted in different ways. Some people may choose to focus on the verses that seem to condone violence, while others may choose to focus on the verses that promote peace.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it is up to each individual to decide how they want to interpret the Quran. However, it is important to remember that the vast majority of Muslims around the world are peaceful people who do not condone violence.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like that's a common sense answer. That's honestly really good. Like every other religion, every piece of text, you can interpret it the way you want. So if you want to interpret it in a violent way, you can do that. But if you want to interpret it in a peaceful way, you can do that. It depends on the person, and it's solely up to the person that is reading it to interpret it that way. So yeah, that makes complete sense to me. If it just says a lot about the person if they interpret what they read as hateful or violent, or yeah, and especially if that makes someone think overall that one religion is violent and extreme based on a quote that they interpreted. You can easily do that with any other religion. So yeah, that's a really common misconception. I really hope that a lot of other people can sit down at one point and do what we're doing right now. Yeah.
Here we go. What does Islam say about Jesus? This will be an interesting question. Islam holds Jesus, Azza, in very high regard as one of the greatest prophets of God. What about Islam teaches him? Jesus was a prophet, not a god. Jesus was born miraculously. Jesus performed miracles by God's permission. Jesus did not die on the cross. Jesus will return. Jesus preached Islam. Jesus and Muhammad are both considered prophets of the same God. Muslims love and respect Jesus as the prophet of God. I didn't realise Jesus was even a part of Islam. I thought that was a Christianity thing. Well, shows how much I know. Anyway.
Why women have to wear the hijab.
الآن نبدأ بسؤال مهم، وهو عن الحجاب في الإسلام. الكثير من الناس يعتقدون أن الحجاب هو مجرد عادة أو تقليد ديني، لكن هل هو أكثر من ذلك؟ لنشاهد الآن كيف يجيب الذكاء الاصطناعي عن هذا السؤال.
Women have to wear the hijab. Right, it says the practice of Muslim women wearing a hijab is rooted in religious, cultural and social considerations. From what I can see, it's saying that they should cover their bosoms, which is fair enough, really. We don't need to see that. And the hijab is intertwined with national identity and cultural heritage, and it varies from country to country. It is an expression of faith and it is personal choice. For many Muslim women, wearing a hijab is an expression of their faith and commitment to Islamic principles, and it can serve as a visible sign of their identity as Muslims. And some women view wearing hijab as a form of empowerment because it allows them to be judged based on their character and intellect rather than their appearance. Ultimately, the hijab can be seen both as a spiritual commitment and a personal expression of identity. Now, interestingly enough, in the Christian faith, we have nuns, and nuns too wear a head covering for pretty much the same reasons. Now, I quite often work in Muslim schools, and one school that I work at in Nottingham, even the young girls wear the hijab. Some of the female staff actually go further, and you can only see their eyes because they are completely covered. Yet I will go into another school and it's Muslim, but nobody is wearing a hijab. So I personally feel that it is very much a personal choice, and if other people are doing it, then maybe they feel more comfortable wearing the hijab.
كما رأيتم، الذكاء الاصطناعي قدم لنا فكرة واضحة حول الحجاب. لقد وضح أن الحجاب ليس مجرد قطعة من الملابس، بل هو جزء من ثقافة إسلامية تتعلق بالاحتشام والحفاظ على الكرامة.
Why do Muslims pray in Arabic? This will be a good one. Let's see what this says. Muslims pray in Arabic because it's the language of the Quran and the original language in which Allah revealed the message to Prophet Muhammad. Here's why it's important. Unity amongst Muslims, preservation and the original message. Arabic is a unique and rich language. I'd agree with that, it's very unique. Following the practice of Prophet Muhammad, personal du'as, supplications can be in any language. While formal prayers, salah, are in Arabic, Muslims can speak to Allah in their own language outside of prayer. Of course, it's the same with a lot of things. Muslims pray in Arabic to preserve the original message, unity. I mean, it kind of makes sense, you know. For example, with the Bible, it's in English. So, actually, no, saying that, I think it was in Hebrew first. I don't know. I don't know too much, to be honest. Yeah, interesting.
I've asked ChatGPT whether Muslim men are obligated to grow a beard, and it says that actually scholars differ on whether growing a beard is something they have to do or whether it's something that's recommended. the practice of growing a beard can vary widely across different cultures and societies within the Muslim world. So they're saying actually it's an expression of faith, but it is up to them. Not everybody feels compelled to. And it says that it's important to note that Islam teaches respect for individual choices and does not condone judging others based solely on their outward appearance. So the conclusion is, in summary, while growing a beard is generally encouraged in Islam and supported by various hadith, the obligation to do so is debated amongst scholars. The practice can vary based on cultural context, personal preference and individual circumstance.
We'll do one more. Is it true that Islam is strict and joyless? Let's have a look. No, this is a misconception. Whilst Islam has guided for living and disciplined meaningful life, it is not a joyless or overly strict religion. In fact, Islam encourages happiness, balance and enjoying life with moral boundaries. Islam encourages joy and happiness. Halal fun is encouragement. Islam allows sports, art, marriage, laughter and travel. Balance between worship and enjoying life. And restrictions exist but for a purpose, inner peace and contentment. So Islam is not joyous. It encourages fun, love and happiness, but in a healthy and meaningful way. It teaches balance, where a person enjoys life while staying mindful for their purpose. I like that a lot. Yeah, I feel like a lot of this I can kind of relate to. You know, trying to stay, trying to have fun, but then you also have to stay focused on your goals and, mindful of your purpose and, people around you and making sure you're being a good human being overall.
The last question I'm going to ask is a question that I feel like is not really for me to get an answer to, because I already kind of know the answer, but I just really want to reiterate it. Because again, the Western media has a common habit of promoting Islam sometimes as a violent terrorist religion. Yeah, I feel like that should be cleared up, so I'm going to ask ChatGPT, does the Quran promote terrorism, to see what it really thinks.
The Quran does not promote terrorism. In fact, the Quran condemns violence against innocent people. For example, one verse says, "And do not kill anyone unjustly, which God has forbidden, except for a just cause."
Makes
Quran
complete sense to me.
17:33. The Quran also teaches that all human life is sacred. This means that Muslims are not allowed to kill innocent people, even in times of war. Terrorism is a complex issue with many causes. Some people may use violence to try to achieve their political goals. Others may be motivated by hatred or prejudice. The Quran does not condone terrorism. In fact, the Quran teaches that Muslims should be peaceful and tolerant.
That actually made me really sad. Yeah, that made me really sad. The fact that people in the Western side of the world, like people in my family, have made comments before about Islam that have been wholly negative and just awful. Especially if someone's brought up around that kind of environment and they don't start critical thinking. I feel like it's so easy for them to start hating on such a peaceful religion. I always knew that Islam was seen as hateful and violent by a lot of people, but I always thought that's not right. It's just that that's the way it's portrayed, and that can't be true. That's just generalizing, and I never agreed with generalizing a whole religion based on one thing you see on the internet or on the news. And yeah, this made me really sad actually. The fact that there's a verse literally saying don't kill anyone unjustly except for a just cause. I believe exactly that. Yeah, I believe in that 100%. The fact it teaches that all human life is sacred and that Muslims are not to kill innocent people. Even in times of war, I've not come across... Yeah, I'm really shocked at how peaceful it is. Before this, I had known that Islam was treated as some kind of extremist, terrorist type of religion by some hateful people. And I knew that that wasn't true. That was just generalization, of course. But now, even more now, I'm realizing even more now how uneducated on the religion I was. There's so many things that I didn't know, and I was someone that, and I'm one of those people that always tell someone stop when they're saying things that are incorrect about Islam and other things like that. But now I'm like, wow, I did not know anything about this religion whatsoever. You think you know something, but you don't until you actually educate yourself on it, and I knew absolutely nothing about this. So this has honestly made me want to look more into the Islamic religion, because it actually really aligns with everything that I believe in as well. So this might have converted me, actually. Just asking ChatGPT questions and getting answers to things that you hear all the time being said incorrectly. Yeah, I generally think this might have converted me. It's been really insightful. I recommend everyone else doing this too. Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. I meant all that. It's really insightful. I'm actually really shocked. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking into Islam a lot more. Yeah, I was so uneducated on it. But yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity, and much love to you.